What's going on, YouTube? What's going on? Welcome to my channel. My name is Mr. Sane, and on this channel, we talk about stocks, how to invest in stocks, and personal finance. To some people, they might be starting at a certain age and thinking that they're too old, or they might just not know how to go or the right direction to go. And so on this episode, I'm going to discuss two simple ways to start your investment journey. Two simple ways. There's many ways to start investing, and all of them great ways. But two ways that I started investing that made it simple for me. And of course, when you start investing, you start putting your money in something, you're going to start wanting to learn more. You know, you put your money in something, you're going to start wanting to learn more. Remember that. Anyway, so on this episode, I'm going to speak on two ways to invest. So let's get started. Well, before we get started, you got to remember this. You can't just have a checking account or a savings account to buy a stock. You know, you got to have a brokerage account. And you get a brokerage account through your bank. You can also get through certain platforms like Robinhood, Webull, Moomoo, I believe Kalshi, Charles Schwab app. That's a good one. You can use those to start your investment journey and start buying assets. So with that, let's get it going. Number one, this particular stock is good for people who's too busy to watch charts or might have kids they got to deal with. You know, they want to put their money up in there, sit and watch it grow. Number one that I recommend for everybody to purchase is a ETF, an exchange traded fund. It's like a basket of stocks. It holds 10 different stocks inside of it, you know, which is always a good thing because when one stock is doing bad, another stock is going to be doing good. But the good thing about the ETFs is that, you know, a lot of them hold blue chip stocks, you know what I'm saying, that's doing good on their own. But the stock that I recommend, the ETF that I recommend is VTI, Vanguard Total Stock Exchange. It holds 10 of the finest stocks. Right now it's sitting at $369 a share. But like I said, it's like a basket of stock, you know what I'm saying? That's always a good thing because, you know, when one stock is doing good, one stock is doing bad, it ain't gonna let it go so low. But you always gotta remember, no matter what, over time, the stock always go up. No matter how bad it go down, the stock always go up. Always remember that. So that's why you gotta have your mind set on being a long-term investor. You can't be a short-term, and you can be whatever you wanna be. If you get a gain, of course, always take profit. Now, if you buy a stock for $30 and all of a sudden it go up to, you know, $10,000 or something, you might want to make a decision, you know, just trim it down a little bit, keep a few in there. So back to VTI, ticker symbol VTI. Like I said, it holds 10 different type of stocks up in there. We're going to look at some of the sectors that VTI invests in. They invest in technology, financials, consumer services, industrials, healthcare, consumer goods, non-classified equity, oil and gas, utilities, basic materials. So those are the sectors that VTI invests in. So while you're busy and got to go to work and punch a clock or got to attend to your kids and, you know, that life, you know, got to deal with life. You know, you can put your, and buy a lot of shares of these, and let your money sit. It's not going to go low. It's always going to go up. When I first bought this particular ETF, I bought it at $250. And that was up, you know, over $350. Let's look at some of the stocks they invest in this ETF. Also, too, I noticed something. To see, this ETF, VTI's top 10 holdings, when I first bought it, when it was $23, their number one holding was Apple. Now all of a sudden, Nvidia is their number one holding. But this is their top 10 holdings. VTI's top 10 holdings. Nvidia, blue chip, you know what I'm talking about? Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet Class A, Broadcom, Alphabet Class C, Meta, you gotta have that Meta, Tesla, Micron Technology. Those are the top 10 holdings that they got in there. So it's gonna do good. You know what I'm saying? I remember I remember I purchased a stock before and soon put money in, the next day it dropped down like $50. You know, and I was a new investor and I didn't know what was going on, but I left it in there and I'm doing good. When you see the line going up and down, it's going to go up and down. The news can change the direction of a price for a stock. So always remember that. But you gotta, one thing I always like to say is, never invest what you can't afford. Don't go out there and buy a $300 stock or a $100 stock or a $2 stock if you can't afford it. Make sure your bills is paid before you just spend your money, because you're going to wind up selling the stock and spending the money anyway. You want to have your mind set on letting it sit for at least a year or better. But yes, so that's one way, a ETF, always start, with as much as you can, but one share is just fine. Don't always try to, I'm going to spend my last, I'm going to try to buy 30 or 100 or 1,000 right away. Buy one, buy five, and then, take it from there. And you will get the rhythm going. You'll start, paying attention to the news more and getting your craft down on investments. And it's your portfolio, so you can set it up and design it how you want to. But VTI or VOO, those are two of the best ETFs. Remember that. Now, the next thing is the second best way to invest is blue chip individual stocks. And like you just saw VTI had NVIDIA as their top number one holding. So of course, I would buy me some shares of NVIDIA, because NVIDIA is doing damn good. That's the thing about NVIDIA. So you see you see VTI, the total stock exchange, is investing their money in NVIDIA. So why not buy you a few shares of that there? Right now, NVIDIA is sitting at $207.29. Today change was $4.01. That's good. Like I said, I remember Apple was number one, and NVIDIA sat there and is number one now. But Apple is a blue chip stock, as a staple. And so Apple, MacBook, iPhone, what I'm saying? So those things is high quality. Apple do make high quality products. And that's why they've been around so long, and that's why they still number two. Let's look at Apple. Let's see what's going on up over here with Apple. So see, Apple is at $327.24 right now. They changed, they made $1.15. You know what I mean? It's a plus. It's a plus to the upside. Always remember. You know what I'm saying? A plus to the upside is better than a negative. But if it's negative, don't just start selling your stuff and running out. Let it sit. Have your mind set on letting it sit a year or better. Don't think about taking it out in 10 months, 5 months. Always had that mindset on the year for sure. Mine's been on 5, 10. You know what I'm saying? A long time. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a short-term investor, let it at least sit for 12 months. And you'll figure out why. It's in some of my other videos. I talk about this. I just want to make sure to the person who might be trying to figure out what they want to do with their money or how to start. You want to start with an ETF. It's a lot of ETFs. I just prefer the VTI, the Vanguard Total Stock Exchange. It holds 10 of the best stocks inside of it. NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Google. You can't go wrong with those. Meta, Tesla. Those are blue chip stocks. So if you're trying to start your investment journey, I recommend starting off with an ETF, VTI or VOO. Start you off with some NVIDIA, some Apple, some Microsoft, to supercharge your stuff. Some of these stocks also pay a dividend. And I got other videos speaking on the dividend, So I make videos like this daily. If you find this helpful in any way, hit that like and subscribe button. Check my channel out. I'm making videos like this daily. And it's very important to invest in your financial future. And like I always want to tell everybody, like I tell myself, your only competition is the person you see in the mirror. Have a good day and God bless.